I'm a biologist dealing with a wide range of research in the field of evolutionary science. I'm delighted to be here, and I enjoy the opportunity to participate and speak at this TEDx meeting. But to be honest, I prefer another type of environment, and usually I tend to avoid populated areas. Sorry for this, folks. This is where I like to be, feel the best, live most of my time, and do important part of my research. In the middle of nowhere, in these beautiful forests, I study my beloved friends, small birds called parrots. They are amazing for a number of reasons. First of all, they are citizens of the great forest civilization. They can tolerate temperatures as low as -70°C in Siberia. They collect food and store it for later use so that the amount of external reserves may reach 15 kilograms of seeds and invertebrates per bird annually. The majority of these birds share a very specific and unique call system called the Chickadee call. And this is considered to be one of the most complicated and complex signaling systems in animal world. Variation in the structure of this specific call has the effect on other flock members in many anti-predator and food-related situations. And I would like to show you one example of this call. This is a call of a marsh tit. This is the Chickadee call. These small creatures are so amazing that I need a couple of hours at least to introduce them properly in detail. It's important to mention that many of these birds live in ecosystems we call the Oldgrowth forest. And these old forests contain old, tall, magnificent trees, and the main difference between old forests and young forests is the ability of old ones to accumulate and store immense amounts of carbon, thus decreasing its concentration in the atmosphere. And this is really important to fight climate change. If you visit me someday in my study area, willow tits, crested tits, nuthatches, coal tits, and many other birds will probably landing on your shoulders and heads and take food from your hands. You can also try the same. With a little encouragement, some small parrots will accept you as a part of the environment and probably as a friend. Be patient, because this never happens within seconds or minutes, and you must earn some trust and develop or establish emotional ties with those small forest dwellers. Parrots are nice. They are great friends, and you can find civilizations of these small birds in many types of forests. The problem is that the forests the birds live in often disappear like they have never existed there before, and this makes me worried. We humans appear no problem to destroy old forests and many other amazing ecosystems. Clear cutting of old forests results in total destruction of civilizations of birds. This also results in enormous risks to biodiversity. But you may ask me, why should you care? After cutting, forest birds disappear, and this is called localized extinction, meaning that a species has disappeared from a particular area. Let me explain why this is important. And I will try to explain this in a simple way. Forests produce oxygen we all need to breathe. The old forests can be considered giant cities, and these cities are serviced by all forest dwellers, birds, insects, down to soil microorganisms. If we disregard their lives, we can say we don't care about for those who run these natural oxygen and food flow factories. Importantly, many species go extinct not only locally, but they disappear globally, and this is irreversible. Only 5 times before in our planet's history have so many species and so much biodiversity been lost so quickly. The 5th was when dinosaurs disappeared, and it wasn't caused by humans. Scientists call the current events the 6th mass extinction, which is taking place because of us. But don't panic. When we disappear from Earth, it will take only 10 million years, and biological diversity will be back to the levels it was before we started to destroy it. The only problem is that we have no any chance to celebrate the diversity of life in 10 million years from now, because we cannot survive if we destroy life on this planet. To be more precise, we humans overexploit resources of this limited space called planet Earth. The problem is not the climate change itself. The problem is our growing numbers and greed. All is not lost, though. And there's a chance for us, and this is called self-domestication. We used to say that a human domesticated a dog, or a cat, or a cow, or bees. But we forget that the domestication is actually a two-way street. We need two to tango. Let me explain in more detail. For humans to get along with all those wild animals, we also had to change. So we can say that domesticated animals have helped to select modern humans, the kindest human beings in our history. And I believe that majority of you belong to this new race, to this new breed of humans. Domestication changes physical appearance of animals. They have shorter noses, white patches on their fur, floppy ears. All of this makes them cute. Centuries of domestication have unintentionally yet radically reshaped dogs' eyebrow anatomy, making these faces easily readable to people. We call them puppy dog eyes. These soulful, innocent expressions can sway even the most hardened human. The same we can see in humans, and changes observed improve our communication with other humans, with other people, to develop societies, and also communicate with other domesticated animals. We look much more feminized, and we are less aggressive than humans a couple of thousands of years ago. Sorry for this, my more masculine peer. Thus, we are ready to protect life on this planet. But isn't this too late? Domestication and self-domestication are evolutionary events, and evolution takes thousands of years. Look at this. This is a typical silver fox in a fox farm. You cannot approach or touch the fox because the animal is aggressive and the animal doesn't trust humans. However, a team of Russian researchers led by Dmitry Belyaev and Lyudmila Trut created a domesticated fox in less than 30 years, a blink of an eye in terms of evolutionary time. I would like to provide you a super positive example I recently experienced myself. You probably know that a typical forest owner would like to gain the highest profit possible exploiting his or her property, and usually forests are turned into clear cuts as soon as possible. I had a long conversation with a forest owner who was about to cut his forest in a traditional way, like this one, where you can see they are like, looks like clear cut, and there are just souls of trees left. I introduced myself and told him about birds that live in his forest. I also took him to a forest adjacent to his property. And he had an opportunity to feed the birds and enjoy their company like I do. Our communication ended like this. The guy removed only biggest trees and left the rest of the forest for the birds. I consider this is a remarkable example of self-domestication. This is truly important to me. A person who was supposed to act as a nature's enemy turned into a person who saves nature in a more efficient way than most professional environmentalists do. Let me explain why this is so important to me. Conditional love is among characteristics we would like to see in domesticated animals. And this is exactly what I see in some of my birds. They look happy to see me and even try to hide my sleeves or pockets during predator attacks. These are my domesticated animals. These are my birds. We have to spread our love to many other living creatures to help them save us. We either survive or die together, and this is what TEDx is about. Thank you.